Hello students, welcome to VisionQ YouTube channel. So in today's session, we will be discussing the SBI PO Prelims 2022 question paper, which was recently held on 17th, 18th and 19th of December. So it consists of 35 questions, but I will be discussing here two parts. In the first part, I will discuss the concepts of speed maths and data interpretation. In the next part, we will discuss the word problems plus some questions of data interpretation. So this session consists of total 19 questions, consisting of the questions from approximation, 5 questions, then quadratic inequalities, 5 questions. One data interpretation question was asked, which was a line graph. It consists of 5 questions, and one caselet DI, which again consists of 4 questions. So do watch this question or do watch this video from starting till the end to clear all the concepts regarding any topic. Okay. So if you are new to our channel, so please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more important videos which are very important for any examination. So let us start today's video and see the first question of today's series, which is question number 1. So these are questions of the topic of approximation. A very important topic for any banking examination, approximation and simplification. Now we have to approximate the values first, and then I have to find out the value of this question mark from the given options. The first question is 120.03 can be taken as 120 divided by 5 by 8 of 24.08 can be taken as 24 into 3.95 is 4. So division and off, out of division and off, I have to first do the off because I have to follow the BODMAS rule. First off, then division. So 5 by 8 of 24. If I cancel by 8, it becomes 5 into 3 is 15. And if I divide 120 by 15, we know 15 into 8 is 120. So 8 into 4 becomes 32. The correct answer is option number C, which is 32. So let us see the next question of approximation, question number 2. So question mark percent of 750. Okay, in this question, I have to take this question mark as x. So x percentage is nothing but x by 100 into 750 plus 14.99 can be taken as 15. 15 square is 225 is equal to 8 square. 8 square is 64 plus 356. So 0 will be cancelled out. So it becomes 75x by 10 plus 225 will be equal to 64 plus 356. This value will be equal to 420. Now if I see these numbers very carefully, 75, 225 and 420, all these numbers are divisible by both 5 and 3. And if a number is divisible by both 5 and 3, it is divisible by always the LCM, which is 15. So these numbers are divisible by 15. So you can cancel out with 15 here. So 15 5 is 75. Then 15 1s are 15. 15 5 is 75. 15 1s are 15 2s are 30. 15 is a 120. So it remains what? X by 2. So x by 2 becomes equal to 28 minus 15, which is 13. And if I cross multiply, x will be equal to 26. The correct answer is option number D, which is 26. Next question of approximation will be question number 3. So x plus 125.03%. So x plus 125.03% is 125%. So 125% of 239.99 can be taken as 240 minus 5.99 cube, that means 6 cube, which is 216, equal to 11.9 square, that means 12 square, which is 144. Now x plus, so I have to find out this percentage values. And how to find out this value of percentage? To find 125% of any number, just break this as 100% plus 25%. Now 100% of a number is a number itself, which is 240. 25% is the half of 50%. So 50% of 240 is 120. And again the 120 half is 60. So 240 plus 60 is 300. So x plus 300 minus 216 equal to 144. So it becomes x plus, so 300 minus 216 will be 84 equal to 144. So x will be equal to 144 minus 84, which is 60. So the answer will be option number A, which is 60. The next is question number 4 of approximation, question number 4. So 840.03 divided by question mark. So let this question mark be x and keep this term on left hand side because it is asked to find out this x. So 840 divided by x and transpose all the terms to right hand side. So 90.03 percentage, that is 90%. So 90% of 600. Now we know percentage means divide by 100. So it percentage always 2 zeros can be cancelled out. So 90 into 6 becomes 540. Plus this is 8 and the cube root of 8 is 2. And if I transpose this term to right hand side, from plus it becomes minus. So minus 8 cube, that is minus 512. So 840 by x becomes equal to 542 minus 512. So if I subtract 542 minus 512, I'll get the value as 30. And if I cancel with 3 here, so 3 2s are 6, 3 8s are 24. So x will be equal to 28. The right answer is option number B, 28. The last question of approximation is question number 5. So what to do here? Okay, 189.97, that means 190 into 48.03 is 48 divided by 1368.02 is 1368. Then again it is divided by 440.9, that means 441. So this 441 will go in the numerator. Plus 86.99%, I can take it 87% of 500.01 is 500. So if percentage 20 is always cancelled out because percents means divide by 100. So I have to multiply 87 with 5 here. Now before this I have to do this part of fraction value. I have to cancel out here the common numbers. Now if I see here, I should know that 1368 is divisible by which number? Now if I try to see, 190 is divisible by 19. So I just need to see that 1368 is divisible by 19 or not. Whether 1368 is divisible by 19 or not. So if I can divide by 19 here, so 19 6s are, so if I cancel by 19, if I multiply 19 with 6, it becomes 114. 90 into 7, it becomes 133. So 19, okay, if I divide 1368 by 19, 19 7s are 133 and 19 2s are 38. That means this number is divisible by 19. 72 and 19 10s are 190. Again, out of 48, 72, 24 is their HCF or highest common factor. 24 2s are 48 and 24 3s are 72. And this 441 is divisible by 3. So it becomes 147. So 147 into 2 will be how much? 294 into 10, 2940 plus if I multiply 87 with 5, it becomes 435. So 2940 plus 435. If I add them, I will get the value as 3375 will be equal to question mark cube, which is x cube. So cubes are very important. I should know is the cube of which number. So we know 15 cube is 3375. The right answer of this question number 5 is x equal to 15. The answer is option number D, which is 15. So these are questions of approximation, a very important topic for all the examination of banking examination. So next we'll discuss will be the questions of quadratic inequalities. Again a very important topic for banking examination. So in every question from 6 to 10 you are given 2 equations 1 and 2. You have to solve the equations and mark the appropriate option from these 5 options out of A, B, C, D and E. That means you have to compare x with y. and tick the options as per A, B, C, D and E. So let us see the first question, question number 6. So 2x square plus 10x plus 12 is 0. So I can see here that 2 is common in all these numbers. So if something is common, always cancel out in the beginning to make the value smaller. So 2 1s are 2, 2 5s are 10 and 2 6s are 12. So this equation becomes x square plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. So to solve any quadratic equation, always I have to convert to the form which is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So in this method, first I have to multiply a and c. Here a is 1, b is 5 and c is 6. So first multiply a and c. It becomes equal to 6. Then break this 6 into two numbers whose sum should be equal to b. Okay, b was 5 here, isn't it? So sum should be equal to 5 and product should be equal to 6. So numbers will be 3 and 2. 3 plus 2 is 5, that is b, and 3 into 2 is 6. So this step is the most important step. In the next step, what to do? Divide both these numbers by a and change the sign. Divide by a and change the sign. So a was 1 here. So if I divide 3 by 1, I will get the value as 3 only. 2 by 1 is 2. And I have to again change the sign. So if it is plus 3 plus 2, it becomes minus 3 and minus 2. So these are the values of x, which is minus 3 and minus 2. So next equation is of y, which is y square plus 10y plus 25 is equal to 0. So first I have multiplied a and c. It becomes 25. Then break 25 into two numbers whose sum will be equal to b, that is 10. Product is 25. So numbers are obviously what? 5 and 5. In the next step, divide both these numbers by a and change the sign. So it becomes minus 5 and minus 5. So these are the values of y. So next step is to compare x and y, x with y. So minus 3 is greater than minus 5 and minus 2 is again greater than minus 5. So correct answer of this question number 6 is x is greater than y. That is option number A. So next discuss the question number 7. X square minus 8x plus 15. So if I multiply a and c here, it becomes 15. I have to break as minus 5 and minus 3. Only then the sum will be equal to minus 8 and product will be equal to 15. Next step, divide by a and change the sign. The value of this x is 5 and 3. In case of the second equation, which is y, if I follow the same procedure, I have multiplied a and c. It becomes minus 6 now because a is 2 and c is minus 3. So product of a and c is minus 6. Next step is the most important step. Sum of the two numbers should be b, that is minus 5. So sum should be minus 5. Product should be minus 6. So numbers will be minus 6 and 1. Sum is minus 5. Product is minus 6. In the next step, divide both these numbers by a and change the sign. So if I divide 6 by 2, it becomes 3. And if I divide this 1 by 2, it becomes 0.5. And change the sign. This minus becomes plus, this plus becomes minus. So these are the values of y. So next step is to compare x and y. This 5 is greater than 3. Again this 5 is greater than minus 0.5. That is x is more than y. Now come to the next value of x, which is 3. 3 is 3 and 3 are equal. Then 3 is greater than minus 0.5. So x is greater than also equal to y, because out of this comparison, in one value x is equal to y. In the other three values, x was greater than y. So correct answer is option number B, x is greater than equal to y. Next question number 8, again a question of quadratic inequalities. So 6x square plus x minus 15 is 0. So first I have multiplied a and c. I have got the product as minus 90. Then I have to break in such a way that the sum of these numbers will be b, which is 1 here. B is 1 here. So I have to break the numbers as 10 and minus 9 in order to get the sum as plus 1. In the next step, divide both these numbers by a and change the sign. So A is 6 here. So if I divide by 6, it becomes minus 10 by 6 and it becomes 9 by 6. This plus becomes minus, this minus becomes plus. Now if I cancel by 2 here, okay, before cancelling out this x value, let me first find value of y. So A is 4, C is 35. So if I multiply A and C, I will get the value as 4 into 35. But don't multiply in such cases, because after multiplication, you will get a large number. So again you have to break the same number once again. So just break here. 4 means 2 into 2. 35 means 5 into 7. So from this select two numbers whose sum will be B, which is minus 24. So how to get the sum is minus 24? 2 into 5 is 10. 2 into 7 is 14. So the numbers are 14 and 10. But sum should be minus 24. So minus should be on both these numbers. The next step, divide both these numbers by A and change the sign. So if I divide by A and change the sign, it becomes 14 by 4 and it becomes 10 by 4. Now one thing you can do here is that the denominator is 6 here and denominator is 4 here. To compare two fractions, make the denominator on both these fractions equal. To make the denominators equal, take the LCM. The LCM of 6 and 4 is 12. To make both these numbers 12, multiply by 2, multiply by 2. Again multiply this by 2, also multiply this by 2. So it becomes minus 20 by 12 and 18 by 12. These are the values of x now. And to make this 412, multiply by 3, also multiply this by 3. Multiply by 3, also multiply this by 3. So it becomes 42 by 12 and 30 by 12. Now it is easier to compare x and y because the denominators have been made equal, which is 12. Now only see the numerators. Minus 20 is less than 42. Again minus 20 is less than 30. Next come to the next x, which is 18. So 18 is less than 42. 18 is less than 30. So x is less than y. Answer is option number C. In between the comparison, if any sign changes, either from greater than to less than or from less than to greater than, answer will be no relation. Because it is not possible to find relationship between x and y in that particular cases. Whenever the sign changes from greater than to less than or less than to greater than. The right answer of this question is option number C, x is less than y. Next question number 9. Same technique I have to follow here also. First I have multiplied A and C here. I have got the value as 10. I have to break it out as 10 and 1 in order to get the sum as 11, that is B, and product as 10. Next step is to divide by A and change the sign. So A is 5 here. So if I divide 10 by 5, it becomes minus 2. And if I divide 1 by 5, it is minus 0.2. I have changed the sign also because in the last step I have to do what? Divide by A and change the sign. So these are the values of x. Minus 2 and minus 0.2. In the next equation, multiply A and C. 4 into 3 is 12. I have to break as 12 and 1. Sum will be 13, that is B. Product will be this 12. Next step, divide by A and change the sign. So it becomes 12 by 4 is minus 3 and 1 by 4 is 0.25. And it should be minus because divide by A then change the sign. So these are the values of y. Now just compare x and y. Okay, minus 2 is greater than minus 3. But minus 2 is less than minus 0.25. So in the first comparison, x was greater than y. In the next, when I compare minus 2 with minus 0.25, I get x is less than y. So whenever the sign changes, either from greater than to less than, or from greater than to less than, or from less than to greater than, always the answer is no relation. It is not possible to find relationship between x and y. So correct answer is option number E, no relation. This is the answer. So last question of the topic of quadratic inequalities. So x square plus 21x plus 108 is 0. So first multiply a and c. It is 108. Divide this into two numbers whose sum will be equal to 21. So numbers will be what? 12 and 9. To break down the numbers in a very easy way, tables are very important. Okay, you should know the tables correctly. So 12 and 9 is 12 plus 9 is 21 and 12 into 9 is 108. In the next step, divide by a and change the sign. So it becomes minus 12 and 9. So these are the values of x. Second equation is similar. First multiply a and c. So 1 into 45 is 45. I have to break the numbers as 5 and 9. So that the sum of these numbers is b 14 and the product is 45. In the next step, divide by a and change the sign. So if I divide both these by 1, 1, it becomes minus 5 and minus 5 after changing the sign. So these are the values of y. And just you need to compare these two values now, x and y. So minus 12 is less than minus 5. Again minus 12 is less than minus 9. 9 is more than, okay, minus 9 is again less than minus 5 and minus 9 is equal to minus 9. So answer of this question is x is less than equal to y. So option number D is the answer. So in both these x and y solutions or x values of x and y, both are minus minus because it is plus, it is also plus. Again it is plus, it is also plus. So the values of x and y will be again minus minus in both these cases. The right answer will be option number D, x is less than equal to y. So these were the questions of the topic of quadratic inequalities asked in this year SBI PO examination. So next we'll discuss will be the questions of data interpretation. Again a very important section for any examination. So this was the question of line graph asked in the recently held examination of SBI PO. So it is based on two variables. It says the line graph shows the number of quantities of items P and Q dispatched and number of quantities of item Q dispatched. That means in one line it is given about P plus Q. In one line it is given about only Q. Dispatched out of total items P and Q dispatched. Okay. Out of total items P and Q, P plus Q and Q value is given. In the four warehouses A, B, C and D in the month of March. A, B, C and D. So I have to find out the values from this line graph and then only I can answer the questions based on this information. So let us see the data given here. So this is a line graph where it is given about two information. The blue line indicates the quantities of items P and Q dispatched. That means P plus Q in total. And the second red line, it represents the quantities of items Q dispatched, only Q. So question is possible to be solved directly from this line, but to find the answer in easy manner, so let me write down the values first. So it is about four warehouses, warehouse A, warehouse B, warehouse C and warehouse D. So I have to find out the values of P plus Q and Q from this line graph. So if I check the y-axis, first point is 0, next is 100. That means the gap is 100, 100. So in 100 gap, it is 5 divisions. If 5 divisions is 100 units, then 1 division will represent 20 units. So 1 division or 1 gap represents 20 units. Okay, in this data. Now if I see here, if I see the value nicely, first I have to find out for A and then I have to find out the value for B step by step. So if I start from A, total value of P plus Q will be this point. Now this point is 480 because it is one line below the 500 and we know one division is 20 units or one gap represents 20 units. So this point is 480. To write the value here, 480. Next, find it for Q. So Q value for A will be 220. So this value is 220. Then come to B. So if I see the value for B, This is P plus Q, this is Q. So P plus Q value will be, this is 500, then 520, 540, then it is 560. So this value is 560 for B. And this value, Q value for B will be 380. Then next is the C. So P plus Q for C will be 320. And this value, Q value for C will be 180. So let me write down here 320 and 180. Next is for D. Okay, if I see for D, this value for D, P plus Q value is 640. Because one gap is 20 units, so it is 640. Okay, and this gap for D, Q value will be 320. So I have to use this data in the given questions to solve the questions of this DI. Only then I can find the answer. Now these are the data given in this DI. Two line, one value is for P plus Q and next is for Q. Now you have to just see what else can you find out from this two information. So if I subtract P plus Q minus Q, I can find the value of P in all this A, B, C, D. So let me find out the value of P also. So 480 minus 220 will be 260. 560 minus 380 will be 180. Then 320 minus 180 will be 140. And 640 minus 320 will be 320. So we'll just discuss the questions based on this data. The first question is, find a ratio of total number of item P dispersed from D and A together to that of B and C together. Total number of item P only. D plus A is to B plus C, only item P. So if I add D plus A, 320 plus 260, it becomes 580 is to B plus C, item P only but B plus C. So 180 plus 140 is 320. So if I cancel out, the answer will be 29 is to 16. So correct answer is option number B, 29 is to 16. So next is the question number 12. So based on the same information, second question number 12 is, total number of item Q dispersed from A is what percentage of average number of item P dispersed from B and D. So total number of item Q dispersed from A, which was 220. So total number of item Q dispersed from A was 220. So 220 is what percentage of average number of item P dispersed from B and D. So item P dispersed from B and D is average. So item P dispersed from B and D. So item P dispersed from B and D, 180 and 320. If I add these two numbers, it becomes 500, and average will be 500 divided by 2, which is 250. So 220 is what percentage of 250? This is the question in question number 12. So 220 by 250 into 100 percentage. So it becomes 25 into 4 is 100. The answer is 88%, which is option number A. So next is question number 13. It says that total number of items Q dispersed from C in February. Now this is an extra information because in the data it was only about March. So this total number of item Q dispersed from C in February, item Q dispersed from C is 20% less than total number of item P dispersed from A in March. Now total number of item P dispersed from A in March, already I have found out before, it is 260. Now this value is 20% less than 260 as per this question number 13. Now if I subtract 20% from 260, now 10% of 26 is 260 is 26. So 20% is double of 26, which is 52. So 260 minus 52 will be how much? 208. So this value is 208. That means item Q dispatched from C in February is 208. Then it is given the ratio of total number of item P. Okay, this is about item Q and this is mentioned about item P. So total number of item P dispatched from C in March to February. Again, it is a ratio of total number of item P dispatched from C in March is to February. The ratio is given as 5:4. Now already I know from the given DI, item P dispatched from C in March. Okay, item P dispatched from C in March was 140. And in the ratio it is 5. So if 5 represents 140, then 1 represents 28. 140 by 5. Then 4 represents 4 into 28, which is 112. Now this is what? This is the total number of item P dispatched from C in February, which is 112. So total number of item P dispatched from C in February is 112. It is asked to find out total item P and Q together dispatched from C in February. That means 208 plus 112. So if I add these two numbers, 208 plus 112, I'll get the answer as 320. The right answer is option number A, 320. Then next question is number 14 question. Total number of item P dispatched from E. Again one extra information about warehouse E, not given in the DI. So total number of item P dispatched from E is depending upon what? 40% more than that of item Q from D. Okay, item Q from D already I know from the given data. So item Q from D is 320. It is 320. Item Q from D. So this value is 40% more than 320. So 320 plus 40%. So 10% of 320 is 32. So 40% is 32 into 4, which is 128. So 320 plus 120 will be how much? 448. So this is the value of P dispatched from E, which is 448. Then find total item Q dispatched from B is how much more or less than total item P from E. As a total item Q from B was 380, isn't it? Total item Q from B was 380. So 380 is how much more or less than 448. So 380 is how much less than 448. To find out that value, subtract 448 minus 380. 448 minus 380. It is once the value will be how much? 68. The correct answer is option number D, which is 68. So find the total number of item Q dispatched from B is how much percent more or less than total number of item P dispatched from C. This question can be found directly from the given data or given line graph. Total item Q dispatched from B. So this value was total item Q dispatched from B. This value was 380. So 380 is how much percent more or less than total number of item P dispatched from C. So let me check the value. Total number of item P dispatched from C. It is 140. So 380 is what percentage more than 140? Okay, it is asked to find approximately. To find what percent more, first find how much more. So 380 is how much more than 140? If I subtract these two numbers, I get how much? 240. So 380 is how much percent more than 140? So 380 is compared with 140. So 140 is the base into 100%. So if I cancel out, it becomes, if I cancel by 2 here, it becomes 1200 by 7. Now 7 17s are 119. Then 7 ones are 7. So answer will be 171 point something. So approximately answer is option number B, 171%. Option number B is the answer. Because it is asked to find the value approximately. So this was the question of data interpretation, a line graph based on the given exam, recently held examination. So in the last question set of today's series will be the one caselet DI, which is based on the concept of Venn diagram. One caselet DI which is based on Venn diagram, because there are some common properties here from question number 16 to 19. So if I see this question very carefully, in society A, some people like 3 different types of music: jazz, rock and folk. There are 3 types of music liked by some people in society: jazz, rock and folk music. People who like only jazz and only rock are in a ratio of 4:3 respectively. So whenever you get such sentences, only jazz, only rock, and if there is common portion also, so such questions are always to be done applying the concept of Venn diagram. So let me dot a Venn diagram here. See, so this Venn diagram is based on 3 variables: jazz, rock and folk. So let me dot 3 variables first. So this circle represents the folk, or you can say the jazz music. So this circle represents those people who like jazz music. This circle is for rock and this circle is for folk music. So it is based on 3 variables. So it is for jazz, this is for rock, and this circle is for folk. Now in the given question, it is given first that people who like only jazz and rock are in a ratio of 4:3 respectively. That means only jazz and only rock. So if the ratio is 4:3, I can take this as x. So if this is 4x, it is thrice x, because this will represent those persons who like only jazz, and thrice x is for those persons who like only rock music. Next, people who like all the 3 types of music is 15. Okay, people who like all the 3 types of music will come here. Common to all the circles is 15 here. That means they like all the 3 types of music: jazz, rock and folk. Then people who like only folk is 50, and people who like jazz is 140. Okay, people who like only folk is 50 and people who like jazz is 140. So people who like only folk is 50. This will represent only folk part. And people who like jazz music, is total of this value is 140. Next, it is given people who like both jazz and folk music is 20. Okay, and people who like both rock and folk is 50% more than people who like both jazz and folk. Okay, now people who like both jazz and folk is 20. So common portion for jazz and folk is 20 people. That means this will come here. This value is given as 20, common to both jazz and folk music. And people who like both rock and folk music is 50% more than people who like both jazz and folk, which was 20. So if I increase 50% from 20, now 50% of 20 is 10. So if I increase 10 from 20, it becomes 30. So this value is for what? For those people who like both rock and folk music. So this value is 30. People who like both rock and folk music. So till now I have used all the information given in the question. Now next, last line is this: people who like both jazz and rock music. Okay, both jazz and rock value is what? Average of people who like both jazz and folk and who like both rock and folk. Average of both jazz and folk and rock and folk. So how many people like jazz and folk? 20 people. And how many people like rock and folk music? 30 people. So average of these two will be 20 plus 30 divided by 2, which is 25. Now these are those persons who like both jazz and rock music. So this 25 will come here. So I have found out all the portions in these three circles. It is left to find this 4x and thrice x. Now this circle represents jazz music. It is 140. That means if I add all these values, I way to get the value as 140. Now 25 plus 15 plus 20 is 60. So 4x plus 60 will be equal to 140. That means 4x will be equal to 80. So x will be equal to 20. That means x value is 20. So how many people like only jazz? Just put x 20 here, isn't it? You will get the value as how much? 4 into 20 is 80. And how many people like only rock music? 3 into 20 is 60. So I have found all the values in the given regions from this DI. So based on this information, your next aim is to solve the 4 questions in this DI. So let us see the first question of this caselet series, question number 16. Based on the information in this DI. Find total number of people who like rock music is what percent of total number of people who like only folk music. Okay, total number of people who like rock music. This circle represents for rock music. I have to add all the regions under this circle. So 25 plus 15, 40, 40 plus 30, 70, 70 plus 60 is 130. So 130 is what percentage of total number of people who like only folk music. So total number of people who like only folk music is 50. So 130 by 50 into 100 percentage. So if I cancel out, the right answer is 260%. So it will be option number A, which is 260%. Next question number 17 is this. Total number of people who like at most one type of music. At most means maximum. So how many people like at most or maximum one type of music? At most one type of music. That means these people may like one music, exactly one music or two music, but not more than two music. So how many people like one music? 80 plus 60 plus 50. It is 190. Or means plus. In the language of maths, or means plus. How many people like two music? 25, 20 and 30. I have to add these values. 25 plus 20 plus 30 is how much? 75. Isn't it? 25 plus 20 is 45. 45 plus 30 is 75. So 190 plus 75. So total number of people who like at most one music. Okay, now see total number of people who like at most one music. Total number of people who like at most one music. That means these people may not like any music. That means these people may like zero music, or the people may like one music, but not more than one music. Now there are no people who does not like any music. Okay, so this zero is to be cancelled out. Now how many people like one music? Just add the values. So 80 plus 60 plus 50. So 80 plus 60 plus 50 is 190. The right answer is option number E, 190. Option number E. So let us see the next question of this caselet series. Question number 18. Find total number of people who like only jazz music. Okay, how many people like only jazz music? It is 80. So this 80 is how much more or less than? Okay, so I have to subtract this 80 from some number. How much more or less than total number of people who like at least two types of music? At least two. That means minimum two types of music they will like. but not less than 2. That means these people may like 2 music, or they may like all the 3 types of music. So how many people like 2 music? 25 plus 20 plus 30, it is 75. And how many people like all the 3 music? 15. So 75 plus 15 will be 90. So I have to subtract 80 and 90. That means difference will be larger number minus smaller number. So answer will be option number D, 10. So let us see the last question of today's series, question number 19. Respective ratio of total number of people who like both jazz and folk music to that of both rock and folk music. So both jazz and folk is to both rock and jazz music. So how many people like both jazz and folk music? It was 20. So 20 is 2. How many people like both rock and jazz music? So rock and jazz music is 25. So I have to find a ratio between 20 is to 25. So 5 4s are 20, 5 5s are 25. The right answer is option number B, 4 is to 5. So these were the questions of approximation, then quadratic inequalities, and then 2 sets of DI. One was line graph, one was caselet DI or caselet data interpretation. So do watch this video from starting till the end. Then I hope that every question will be clear, whichever I have discussed in this first part of this SBI PO series. So in the next part, we will discuss the remaining 16 questions. Questions will be of data interpretation, one set, and remaining questions will be of word problems. So if you have any queries, please do comment your queries in the comment section, and please don't like to share this video. Forget to share this video with your friends. Okay. Until then, let us meet you in the next video. So thank you all.